As a bus driver for students with special needs, disabilities, or neurodivergencies, you will likely be involved in the Individualized Education Plan or IEP meeting. If your student has particular needs, devices, or assistance to make their transportation service as equitable as possible, you oversee the adjustment to your bus and route to accommodate. In this video, we will explain what exactly an IEP is and how it pertains to you as the transportation provider. An IEP is an individualized education plan for students with disabilities, intellectual impairments, or other neurodivergencies. This plan is a roadmap of how a child can receive the most equitable and serviceable education. If a child requires specialized transportation, the IEP might also include an ITP, or an Individualized Transportation Plan. This will consist of any and all logistics for transporting the student, including factors like aids or devices needed on the bus, preferred routes and times, and any behaviors to be aware of. You need to be a part of the IEP meeting so you can learn firsthand about a child's transportation needs. Attending the meeting will allow you to ask clarifying questions or raise potential concerns about the logistics of this child's transportation needs. You are responsible for being familiar with the child's needs, any disabilities, and any equipment or aids they may require on the bus. These specifications should be included in the child's ITP. The IEP should include any necessary specifications regarding the child so that you, the school, the parents, and the student can know what services to expect. Any training or support required from school personnel should be explicitly written in the student's IEP. The IEP process consists of two parts. The first is the IEP meeting, which should involve the parents, teachers, the school administrator, and any appropriate related service personnel, including you as the bus driver. The second part is the IEP itself, a written document containing the agreed-upon decisions from the initial meeting. This record contains any resources or services the student will need, as well as how long these services will be provided. At the IEP meeting, you must be vigilant in clarifying any challenging transportation logistics, such as ride time or safety concerns. If changes need to be made after the IEP has been implemented, for example, if a student's behavior changes so drastically that the environment is no longer safe, you can call an IEP meeting to discuss the concerns and consider changes. Transportation drivers for neurodivergent students who have IEPs have two main functions on the IEP team: to gather relevant information regarding the student's transportation needs and to educate the rest of the IEP team on the transportation environment. You should be able to express the abilities or limitations of your bus, the routes, and the logistics of any aids the student might need on the bus. There are specific factors that must be addressed during the IEP meeting so that you can best serve your students. Every IEP will be different, as every child has their own personal needs. But generally, an IEP will include details on the bus routes, any equipment manufacturer's instructions for lifts or securement systems, the seating chart or plan, any emergency information, including do not resuscitate or DNR orders, any special medical information, and any emergency equipment such as fire extinguishers or first aid kits. You should abide by universal precautions and have a bodily fluid cleanup kit, latex gloves, and non-latex gloves on your bus at all times. In addition, you should not operate a lift without another experienced aide or driver until you feel comfortable operating the equipment alone. Even then, in most circumstances, it is preferable to have assistance if possible. Don't be afraid to ask questions or for assistance if you have doubts about any processes or logistics. It's also essential that you never rush and only do what is within your technical expertise. By law, the IEP team must consider whether the student in question can use regular transportation, and if not, whether supplementary staff, equipment, or services can be provided. Other factors to consider include whether qualified personnel are available, whether a responsible and appointed adult is available for pickup and delivery, and whether public transportation is an option, either with or without a support network or adaptive equipment. Remember that your bus is a mobile classroom that can provide real-world experience. The students on your bus learn valuable skills contributing to independence, confidence, and social skills. Entering and exiting the bus can provide a real-world challenge and an opportunity for you to teach about safety. Any devices, aids, or assistance that a student might need on the bus offers an equitable chance for them to learn from and utilize these school resources that are available to everyone. Take your seat at the IEP meeting and become familiar with each of your students and their transportation plans. You are as much of a guide for your students as their IEP